After all this time. After all this time.
We finally made it.
We did it.
This was
We did
this
it.
was this was not worth it.
It may not be worth it, but the views speak otherwise. That is the thing about this gig.
Now let's go.
How's it going there,
Personal tale.
everyone? The Dark Reviewer, as well as everyone here on the Shadow Crew. We have done the impossible for us. We have done our series well. From the very first time we did this for Anime Bracket 1, holy moly, that was something.
It's supposed to be a one-off thing, but we said, fuck it, let's make it into a series.
Yes, we did. So we decided to do 8 finalists, 8 different brackets with different titles. And our choices that we have are great. We have some really good, strong, heavy hitters ready to take the crown of real king of anime. So, I think for how we're going to be doing this, everyone kind of really already knows who's going to be there. I'm just going to show the entire bracket so we can discuss it. We're going to have a good discussion on who do we think should move on and why we think that is. So, without further ado, we're going in to our first rounds because who we have in the first round, it is Date Alive versus Licorice Recoil.
Ooh.
Oh shit. Okay. This is
This is easy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Real, this is kind of easy.
I mean, it's just like the thing about Licorice Recoil and Date Alive. The fact remains like these are both like very like unique shows in different sense. You have Date Alive, one a very underrated, but then kind of blew up to become a big harem type of show. Then there's Licorice Recoil, a fully original anime that actually paints spies and female badasses in a good light. Both really good English dub casts, both their actors and actresses put in great performances. Some stuff definitely are hard enough, but I'm kind of curious, like, what kind of like takeaways would you see from like both these shows?
one thing
Learned that I want to kill a blue-haired protagonist.
between
Damn.
Licorice Recoil and Data Live. Like the key thing I'm looking at right now is like even though both kind of set out to do what they want to do with their respective series, and Licorice Recoil, even though I enjoy it more, it's only because I vibe with its kind of setting and style more. But I would definitely say Data Live has definitely a lot more going into it from lore and world building perspective that I have to give it props over Licorice Recoil in comparison.
And Nate, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think it's just like the same point that Trey made, because like, again, they took like two different concepts. Like with Licorice Recoil, it's like pretty much like John Wick, but with anime girls. But it does its own thing to make a unique spin on it. And then we had Data Live, which basically kind of turned like a dating sim in a way, which is something I'm not really big on. But they made it work, and they actually like expanded upon it a bit more. It's like, okay, it actually has some of the harem cliches, but it doesn't shy away to actually step away from it. It does something unique. So either way, both had their ups and downs. Like
True
Licorice
that.
Recoil's downs is like it's an anime original, so of course it's gonna have some fumbles. And when Data Light, since it's based on the light novel, it had to take some liberties by cutting some stuff out or rearranging some stuff that was like, they could have handled a bit better, but still passable.
And it's slightly mitigated by the fact of like since Day Live is based on existing IP, it can still just motivate the watcher to read the original series. If they want to see how it was done in the original source material, that's a motivation to do that. So that's
True.
a benefit. It has
But it
going
also kind of gives a props on that for Licorice Recoil because it actually did get like some specials as well as its own like official manga being released. So they could also have some liberties actually even expanding on some of the stuff that they couldn't even do in the anime.
Yeah,
True.
But I think for who should be moving on, I think I will have to say Day Alive for more seasons on Kens, but also I think it's because I just had a little bit more fun. Like it actually felt fun for a harem show and action oriented to actually go hand in hand like that.
I was gonna say Data Live as well. I love Licorice Recoil, but there's just a lot more content going on with Data Live.
I'll say
Yeah,
Data
Data
Live.
Live. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, I would say Day of Life for me as well. I actually do kind of like the interdimensional spirit aspect they got going on. It gives me Chain Soldier World Trigger vibes.
I mean, if
That's
only they
interesting.
continued it. Just saying.
World Trigger is still going on in
Not
the
No, we're
that,
not
you
talking
know.
about that day. We're talking about Data Life, man.
damn it. Oh.
Yeah.
Now you realize it.
But
Anyways,
okay,
yeah.
I think we gave some good pointers, some good things. So okay, so Day Alive is moving on for that,
Not really. Oh.
and now we
Oh.
have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Hellsing.
We
This is
got
actually
a
fitting. This is fitting.
vampire versus a vampire. How about that?
Well, I mean, technically, it was. I
Kind
think.
of.
I mean, the first few were about vampires, but then it just got bizarre.
Okay,
Unintended.
who wants to start this off? Because I already have a lot to say, and I don't want to take it up.
I think
Uh.
I think the thing about with it depends on what you want to do for both these shows. Because in terminology, Hellsing Ultimate is technically a reboot following the original manga story, but in a sense, the original anime wasn't that bad, but we're not focusing on that. So I think also because also JoJo is technically a revival of of its original series. So there is like some differences that you can actually call upon for both of these shows. But I think also one big also drawback that it has on Hellsing Ultimate, it is a rebooted OVA series that each episode took a year to come out for. And it was only like 10 episodes. But JoJo, unfortunately though, some parts aren't strong compared to others, and it does
Kind
kind
of
of
teeter a
contradict
bit.
each other. And both action packed, really great styles, really good ideas. But I don't know. I just think that's me. I'm not sure. I think I might go for Hellsing, but I want to hear what anyone else has to say about it.
I mean, JoJo, like, I think it's fine for what it is. It's trying to do something different every season, but I think that's also its greatest flaw. It's just like we're not focusing on one character, so like we're focusing on different like aspects. Like I know people shit on Pokemon for Ash not aging or anything, but like now that he left and we had the new cast, some people are like, "Oh damn, I kind of miss him." Whereas Hellsing, I agree with what you said. Like it is a remake and yeah, I don't know. It kind of loses a bit of that charm the original had, but still, both were good for what they were.
Yeah, I would say like I think it's like in terms of like the parts that were like the weakest or the weakest in JoJo in my opinion was like Stone Ocean because like Stone Ocean started out pretty fine, but then I remember how the ending was, and I was like, well, that kind of faltered a bit, and that also gets like a bit of like a negative to that one. Even I'll get like a bit of gripes to like part one because like I get it, it's the first part, but it was still a bit like rough. It was a bit like difficult like to get through, but I think that's what makes like the other parts later on shine a bit more. Like they took what the first part did and they just like amp it up to be better in their own way. And I kind of applauded for that. Where Hellsing Ultimate, yeah, it lost the charm, but for what it is, it did stay more faithful to the source material, and I did applaud him for it.
I'd say that since we're talking about, and that was what I was thinking about as well, the fact that JoJo is made up of multiple parts, and I'm gonna stick to the main six because part seven, that's its own thing. That is its own thing, even though it's still a part of the larger franchise as a whole. The main six parts, it to its detriment, as was already pointed out, like they're not consistent in quality. I would say parts two, four, and five are the best parts in terms of overall quality, whereas parts three has a lot of flaws in it, and parts one and six even more so. One being just pretty boring in comparison, and part six being very inconsistent with its quality and storytelling. But one thing I will say that I give it props is that each part is, well, different. It's a different tone, it's a different style, and it's different levels of creativity. And it's a showcase of how Araki is moving forward. Like a consistent theme of the story is basically the humanity and justice, starting with Jonathan Joestar and how it's portrayed through his following descendants. Like we get a new main character and we get a different take on their views of justice each time. Like that's one benefit to this, regardless of quality, is that you're never going to get the same thing twice in JoJo's. Like there's similar tropes and similar styles of storytelling, but it's always a new style, a new story, new fights, new abilities and powers, each one more creative than the last. Some good, some negative, but overall, you cannot say that it's not pushing those limits. Helsing does push limits in its own way, and it's more consistent in quality. But I would say I'm definitely more invested in JoJo because it feels like I'm always getting something new every time I go into it.
I think that's true. I think that was what's actually something that's also really new about Hellsing Ultimate is the fact on both the manga and the original anime, we never saw Alucard's backstory. That was an original thing that they added just for Hellsing Ultimate, which is already like
Well
holy,
then.
like holy hell! That guy had, man, did they give him a backstory?
That's
Yep.
actually something we can actually commentate on. Like Housing Ultimate adds a lot to the original series of Housing, but and also JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the anime interpretation, day of production, they add in other scenes to flesh out characters. For example, the scene in part three where Jotaro calls Holly Joestar,
Hmm?
Joseph's wife, that wasn't in the original manga. They actually added that scene. Not to mention in part five, scenes where Fugo is looking up into the sky after Naranja's death. That's an actual expansion of the adaptation as well. So both series actually do add in new things that wasn't there in the original source material.
Prove that.
Respect, respect.
But
Yeah.
which one of you guys actually think would you want to see like go all out? Would you want to see the man in red killing a bunch of Nazis or whatever the hell we see in JoJo?
I'm gonna have to give it to Hellsing. Like JoJo, again, like I respect what it tries to do, but at this point, my head just kind of hurts from like all these different powers level systems and stuff. That's just me.
So I do believe in terms of like how it's moving on, I guess we're gonna say it's Hellsing.
Wait, did Nate already say his choice?
I'm still pondering on my end.
Oh,
Oh,
what about
really?
you,
What,
Brandon?
what are you like? What's holding you back? Maybe we can help you out.
Um, it's just like I think it's like I pointed out, like each of them had their own cons. I think it also depends on like what I'm in the mood for. Like, do I want to see like something badass, or do I want to see like wacky and badass?
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
you
it's
can.
like the thing what you just mentioned. I think they both are like that. They're both badass and they're both wacky and badass. Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is already wacky enough and has that
Hmm.
style. But some of the other characters in Hellsing Ultimate, I mean, like the Valentine brothers and Rip Van Winkle, the Dandy Man, like that's wacky. It's different, but they're still like each one has that badass trope. I think it also just goes to like how well do you think the stories actually hold up? I think that's actually you should
Yeah.
probably think about.
One surprising thing actually about me, and like the main reason why I enjoyed JoJo's Bizarre Adventure so much is honestly the musical references in it. Like I joke that JoJo's is just Araki's playlist, but I genuinely like it. Like a good portion of my Spotify playlist is thanks to JoJo introducing me to artists. Like I didn't actually have a single Prince song on my playlist before I actually started reading JoJolion, where the main character has
Oh.
a stand called Soft and Wet, and I looked up the song, gave it a
Jesus
listen, and I'm like,
Christ.
But yeah, if I had to pick one, I might have to give it to Hellsing Ultimate. Nothing against JoJo. I respect JoJo for what it is. My favorite part is still Diamonds Unbreakable, but it's also like I mentioned, part one and part six, and as Trey mentioned, part three weren't really all that strong.
Okay,
They're not
then.
bad or anything, but they could have done some work.
Hey, but JoJo, good job. You did make it to the final. So you know what? You get
That's
a
still
clap.
an honor, and
You get two claps.
it lost to Helsing. I can take that. Oh
Ah,
shit.
shit. We're not going to the other side. I forgot. Oh.
Okay.
yeah, because like it's a shorter bracket.
It's a
shorter
very
bracket.
short bracket. There's only 8, so it's
Yeah.
pretty quick on how we can do this.
I honestly have my
I
choice.
got my choice. Yeah.
In terms, okay, yeah, I think for terms of this quality, I'm still probably gonna have to say Hellsing Ultimate, just because of just it's my very first original anime. It's made vampires cool again. Alucard is still best anti-hero in anime. Sorry, Kermit, just saying. But I still love. I think both just do great, but just in terms of like Data Live struggles, season 2 some parts were flat. Season 3, though, that was like some stuff was like,
Mm.
and then honestly, season 5 was like,
Hmm.
the more I look back on it, it's like there are some stuff that does well for how to end, but just some of the stuff that was leading up to it was like, eh.
I think it was mostly because like the studio that was like making it, it was getting shut down. So
Well, I mean,
that
Jason
was
Staff is not shutting down. They just made One Punch Man.
I mean,
Ah,
sort of
shit.
improvement.
that kind of explains it.
And anyways,
Anyways,
for me, I would go with Data Life. It does have more quality, and it kind of does make you think a bit more than Hellsing. Because Hellsing, don't get me wrong, it's really great. It's bloody as hell, but it is also kind of a bit straightforward. With Data Live, like it makes you kind of when we keep going, it kind of makes you question a little more.
True.
yeah,
I'd say
I'm
there's
probably
some. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I'm probably gonna go with Data Line with this one. Hellsing Ultimate, it's a great adaptation. I really enjoyed it,
I'd
but
say
Nicholas does make a point when he brought it up. Like, I felt like we need a bit more episodes for Hellsing Ultimate. That's just like me, though.
I think so, but I think it's also because the manga didn't really go on too long. It wasn't that long of a
Yeah, it
manga.
didn't go on too long, but I felt like we could have used like a couple of more episodes for Ultimate.
True.
I think there's still quite a good amount of substance within the themes and story that Helsing is trying to tell, especially towards the end, because there's a reoccurring trend and theme of monster versus humanity, like the humanity within monsters like Alucard, and what humans are willing to sacrifice to become monsters, such as Ceres Victoria, Walter, and Alexander Anderson, who all have their own various reasons for sacrificing their humanity. Ceres doing it to essentially protect and avenge her comrades. Alexander Anderson, out of his faith and love for God and desire to finally smite Alucard down. And then you have Walter, who betrayed everything he had ever known and loved for just a chance to face off against Alucard. And I think that's also another benefit too, is even though we don't get full backstories and lore of Housing Ultimate, it does not take away from the sheer intensity of how these characters interact with each other. It doesn't just feel like tension and drama for the sake of it. When you watch Hellsing, you can tell these characters have history. We may not know it, but you can tell that they have connections and a past with each other that's very much prevalent in how they fight and talk to each other.
True. So, okay, I guess yeah, Hellsing is moving on.
Wait, what?
Oh, we're tied.
Oh,
We're tied.
are we tied?
Me and Kevin are going
Yeah.
with Data Life.
Oh, I honestly, Kim, I really thought I heard you said Hellsing. If I'm being
No, I said-
He really wanted to put Helsing on.
Trey, do you want to like to flip the coin, or you want me to do it?
I don't know, Nate. I don't know, Nate. Like, is your double-sided coin on here?
I got it.
Yeah,
Alright,
Trey's
Trey.
got it. Okay, let's see
Go
who's
for it,
going.
All right. Heads,
Oh.
Data Light. Tails, Helsing.
I mean, honestly, either one, I'm cool with either of them winning. Both.
Same.
have
Oh yeah,
good
like I said, it's just like it's good that we have to have these discussions to know like how do we think or what is going to be going on. But let's see there, Trey.
Ah, damn it! I wish she dropped it.
Oh shit. Tails.
Oh,
Oh,
Men in Red. Okay.
All right, the vampire's moving on.
alrighty then.
But hey,
Okay.
Data Live, you made it to the finals in this area.
They
so
made it to the finals. That made it to the semifinals. That is
that's
the thing.
still impressive.
Still impressive. But I think going on next we have is IG number A versus Mob
Oh, I know it's
Oh,
gonna
okay, this is-
win.
Ooh.
Because here's the thing, though. I think the difference between both of these is that I didn't really read the manga for Mob Psycho. I just treated it as an anime only for me. So I
Wait, did it have a
wasn't-
manga?
It
It
did.
has a
did.
manga, yes.
Oh,
So I wasn't too exposed for that. But Kaiju number 8, I read that from start to finish. Yes, the ending has some gripes. I can deal with it, but it was still solid all the way through. And I think that's what actually has both of these shows going for it. The journey that both Kafka and Mob have is very parallel, very almost similar, but yes, Mob's ending is a little bit stronger just because of how it ends like that. But I think the more I look back on it, I'm actually gonna say Kaiju number 8 on this one. Because Mob Psycho is almost like a near perfect ending. I will say season 2's ending felt like a good canonical ending. We didn't really need a season 3, but I'm glad we did. But still, the journey still kind of felt like it wasn't really part of the manga. Whereas Kaiju number 8's like it really does feel like the anime kind of changed some stuff, like actually added some stuff that we wouldn't even expect. The Hoshina movie especially added a lot more Hoshina than I'd ever thought. So I think that's just me. Both are really like grounded foundational stuff of what they want to do though.
Yeah, that one's like I could go either way on this one because like Mob Psycho, like this is made by the same creator as One Punch Man, and honestly, this one had like better story, better lore, and like honestly better characters than One Punch Man. Like,
Well, I mean, because the thing is with One Punch Man, it's more of a kind of a parody of.
it's more of a parody. Well, this one's like it has that silly charm, but it was like a lot more serious. And even like some of the side characters, even like the ones that I didn't really care about, even they have a moment to shine. And I think that's like one of like the greater, stronger points. Whereas like Kaiju number 8, it actually took like the Kaiju concept, the Godzilla concept, and it actually like made it unique. It actually felt like more natural. And this is like ironic because I mentioned I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan. I don't hate it. I just couldn't really get into it all that much. But with Kaiju number 8, what they did, they made it work. And this is like a and even I even stated it's like one of my favorite shonens. So it really depends on like on my mood for it. So I think from my personal end, I'm just gonna flip a coin.
All right. Well, for me, I'm honestly like Mob Psycho is good. Like it was definitely interesting, but I'm gonna be real. It kind of dragged a bit at times. Like I get the story with Shigo Kageyama just being very socially awkward but having this psychic powers. Like that's really interesting. But there were a few story beats that I was just like, didn't really give a shit about, you know? And some of the side characters were fine. Reagan is definitely the highlight, but that's all they are, side characters. Whereas Kaiju number 8, you kind of get to know a lot of the major characters. Like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of characters that are just just there, you know? But honestly, you get to know the crew. You get to know Kafka. You get to go Reno, Kikoru, Iharu, like all of them, like their unit. And then like you see a bit of their development, like especially after Kafka was revealed to be a kaiju, a lot of them just stood up to him. Like the thing with Mob Psycho is I don't know, like it didn't feel like it had a unity until later on, but with Kaiju Marie, like these guys fought tooth and nail. It feels more bonded, you know, and also like a lot of I'll be real, a lot of the action scenes in Kaiju Marie, I liked it a lot more than Mob Psycho because with Mob Psycho, I'm gonna be real, it's hard to see what happens at certain points, and I'm just like, what, like that. But with Kaiju number 8, like it's simple, but it feels really good. And plus 9 is, oh god,
terrifying as a villain. And yeah, I flipped a coin on my end, and Kaiju won that coin flip. So
yeah,
I'm
so I'm
going
good.
Yeah,
I'm going Kaiju
I
as
still
well.
love Mob Psycho though.
Yeah, Mob Psycho, I still respect that.
I think I'm on the very opposite end because, to be honest, it was after Kafka left and faced off against Kikuro's father. I believe his name Osai, is it? Or Iso?
Yeah, Iso, yeah.
After that point, honestly, I started to kind of like lose interest in Kagurabachi. Like some of the cracks in Kagurabachi started to show for me.
I mean, you mean
like,
Kaiju number 8?
It had a very strong start to it, but certain aspects of it, like it just, for example, Kafka's ties surrounding his origins as Kaiju number 8 with the samurai background that we could tease on, stuff like that. I'm not gonna spoil it considering that's still in the manga that has not been adapted yet.
I mean, you did kind of spoil it right now, buddy.
I mean, that was already adapted.
Whoopsies.
Oh.
But like in that vein though, it's just moments like that where it's like it's just there for me. Reno even having his own suit, that was cool. But like I don't know, like it felt like after Kafka left, it just felt so, I don't know, it just felt slow and like not a lot was really happening. And it where with Mob Psycho, it just feels like there's still something to invest in. Like it may drag on at times, but it feels like things are actually still pedaling along. Not to mention, I like the characters in Kaiju number 8, but I'm sorry, Mob and Reagan's relationship, it blows anything in Kaiju number 8 out of the water in terms of character interaction for me, at least personally.
Yeah, I mean you're
You're
not
not
wrong
really
on
wrong because, like, again, both series right here, they are great. They are great, and they also have like their minor issues. It's just like it's also like down to a personal preference. And again, if I haven't done like the coin flip, I would still be struggling because again, I love both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, alrighty. Kaiju's gonna be moving on to the semifinals in this bracket.
Yeah, but
I
hey,
don't-
Mom, you still made it to the finals area. That's still an honor for you.
You beat JJK, Hell's Paradise, Dawn to Dawn, Chainsaw Man. So I was like, you know what, Mom?
Yeah.
I'm good with that. You're good for that.
You know, being Chainsaw Man these days isn't really a high bar to clear anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Swear to God.
I think this
Son
is
of a
honor.
bitch. Oh man.
We gotta lock
man.
in. It's gonna suck, but we gotta lock in here.
Oh,
Yeah,
shut
that's
it.
true. Because two of Shonen Jump's crowning golden boys right here. Because like, and it's actually ironic enough that both of these are actually very like frowned upon shonens in the eyes of the shonen fan base.
My God, you're not even
Bleach
wrong.
Bleach has
Like-
turned around its reputation a lot more recently, though, with its recent anime adaptation.
It's
Yeah,
true,
that's
but I
your
think
fault.
also like it turns to like how like recency as well. Like Black Clover did turn it around after the Seabed Temple arc, and people actually gave Black Clover a little bit more of a credit to where credit is due. And I think it was actually gravitating towards this more. I think I'm still on the fence, but I'm actually gonna lean a little bit more on the Thousand Year Blood War for Bleach, just because of the fact that we actually got this to come back. Tite Kubo is actually on the development team and actually directing some of these episodes, and even of course even directing some of the fight scenes that actually do happen. So it's like, which one do I want to see more? Because I know for a fact I wasn't into the manga of Bleach too much until the Thousand Year Blood War, but I was invested. I was invested into Black Clover's manga. But I will still say, yeah, some stuff of Black Clover doesn't really fit or feels mundane. But still, though, I still think Black Clover, especially for how it just ended, very solid for how it did it. Tadaba did a great job for that, and I cannot wait to see it come back. But I'm still
Yeah.
gonna say Bleach.
Like the thing is with Black Clover, I will say give it a chance. Yeah, I agree with a lot of people. It's slow, and it did feel kind of like, oh, it's just Naruto with magic. But honestly, it kind of grew a lot more layers. A lot of them kind of fell flat, but honestly, overall, like the world itself, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed a lot of the characters and some of the action. Though with Bleach, honestly, its setting and everything it did was very interesting. You know, the idea of the Soul Society, about hollows, about how they're created, then about Quincy's, Fullbringers, all that, and how the story went. Yes, with the Bleach anime, it had a lot of filler, but honestly, even some of those fillers were not that bad. They were fine, especially the Thousand Year Blood War. Like Brandon said, Tite Kubo is on the development team. He's adding new stuff. He's expanding on stuff. And honestly, I would have to give it to Bleach. You know, it feels a little stronger of story and world than Black Clover. But I still love Black Clover.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with like Bleach on this one too, because like Black Clover, and this is like I was like on that fence where it took a while for me like to get on board with this one. It wasn't until like C-Band Temple, like this is like a personal thing. I prefer to get into things on the get-go, like right away. And the fact that Black Clover took about like 40 to 50 episodes, that's where I was like, I kind of give a bit of a strike. But I will get credit. The magic system in that one, that was pretty clever, especially with the grimoires. I thought that was very unique. And I love how like they can actually like work well together. Like some of the obscure ones can actually work pretty well. And I actually do get credit for like with the later arcs, it does pick up. It actually like flows a little better. And I will admit, I think like some of the side cast members in Black Clover are a little bit more stronger than the ones in Bleach, personally.
That's fair.
But I think like in terms of like villain wise and like the lore wise, I also gave that one to Bleach as well. Because like the villains in Black Clover, while some of them are good, like Zagrid and Zenon, The rest of the villains in Black Clover kind of suck. Like
they're
there were
they're really forgettable.
yeah, like
Especially
the
the
other
Dark
villain I
Triad.
kind of liked during that time was like Patri, because like I like how tragic it was, but then he got shunned to the side because of a demon.
And then
Yeah.
also, like, I will also say that Strike is definitely truly is. I'm sorry that some parts of that in the final arc of the manga when they adapt it is bullshit.
It was like
Like, it's
BS.
so
It was
crazy because he
very
has such a
BS.
strong start, but then towards the end, it's like he does really nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't really do nothing about it. But with Bleach, we got some really strong villains, like some of the Soul Society members, where they were like antagonists when they kidnapped Rukia. When Sosuke Aizen became a villain, where he invented ore farming along with Piccolo. We got Yowak, who was like the big bad of the 1,000-Year Blood War. Even like some of like the commanders that Yowak leads, they're all pretty strong villains in their own way.
In all honesty, like on a story level, I definitely say I vibe more with Bleach than Black Clover. Like I've always been consistent. Like I'm kind of like the opposite of Nate in this regard. Like I got hooked into Black Clover pretty early on, like around when Yami and Asta are facing off against uh Tree for the first
Oh yeah,
time.
that was a pretty good fight, I will say.
Yeah, that's when I got hooked into Black Clover. But even though I was hooked to it and I enjoyed it, Black Clover never really was anything that like made me think or invest too much of my time into its lore or its setting or its themes like that. Like I could understand what it was telling me at face value, and I was like, "Oh, cool. Who's also swinging his sword on next?" That was pretty much the thought process. And I would definitely say though, like especially after the Spade Kingdom arc, my again cracks started to show, but we're not there yet in the anime. So I'll criticize this thing in the anime. In comparison to Bleach, I feel like the animation quality in Black Clover is more inconsistent in adapting the manga.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
like there's one thing I will admit: the first time we saw Black Asta in the anime during the Witch's Forest arc,
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
really
that was
hard
wonky.
for me to get through. It wasn't until like later on Black Asta actually looks really good.
You know what the irony is that it's the same studio, Studio
Yeah,
Pierrot. They did
Pierrot.
both.
So
Yeah.
I know that's
what
what I'm
happened
like.
to the
What?
budget?
And it's kind of ironic though because like with Bleach you have iconic moments like Ichigo his every time he goes hollow, literally every time his fight with Byakuya,
Every
his
time
fight
he
with
goes hollow,
Tokiura.
and every time he goes Bankai.
Exactly. Not to mention, like, even though I would say agree that a lot of the side characters in Black Clover do get more focused than in Bleach, when Bleach does do good shit for its side characters, it does good shit. Shinji's Bankai, Byakuya in every scene he's in. Hell, fucking, I would even say, like, people criticize this arc a lot, but even the Fullbring arc, I would say, is like Ichigo versus Jinjo is a very underrated fight that just has very great animation.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
But
Fullbringer was fine. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't have a problem with the Fullbringer.
I mean,
arc.
as an ending to the series, yeah, I can see why people don't like it. But honestly, it's his own arc. It was good development for Ichigo.
Yeah, like and going into Thousand Year Blood Rock, even though I do think Fullbringers they don't get capitalized on the way they should, they really get focused on light novels, which is a criticism in of itself. I do still like the lore behind Bleach more than I do so Black Clover. Like especially considering the focus on the soul. It's a very strong focus on identity. We do talk about identity in Black Clover through certain characters, but with Bleach, that's the constant focus. So you get these constantly nuanced episodes and chapters focusing on different lessons and moralities that's never really black and white, unlike Black Clover, where it's like friendship, stay together, unify, and you will win. That is usually the core theme.
It's like fairy tale all over again.
Kinda, yeah.
But okay, how about that? We are all unanimous. Like Bleach is gonna move on,
Damn.
but kudos. Like honestly, yeah. Again, Black Clover took its spot. Good job for it to make it to the finals.
It was a
The
hard
fact
fight,
that
but
it went above My Hero is so funny.
And plus, Black Clover was inspired by Bleach, so it's kind of like going against its predecessor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, no.
Now, oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
The ironic thing, both manga creators are friends. And
True
even like the
shit.
manga creator,
True.
Kaiji number 8, took inspiration from Bleach when making this.
I do have my vote though.
Yeah,
I
it's-
have my vote as well.
Yeah, it's honestly as much as good as praise I did give Kaiju number 8. I did give it praise because I did read this manga. I had, like I said, wasn't really invested in the manga and Bleach until I really heard that it was coming back, or when the original series was ending, then I really jumped on board, and Kubo is just he knows what he's doing. He knows
Yeah.
what he's doing. So, as much as I also will say, like the animations on both these, like for Kaiju number 8, for the fight scenes, especially for 1,000 Year Blood War when Period came back to do this, they both are just great. Really good, strong starts, but it may be a little biased because I am a bigger fan of it from the past. But the fact when you get to see Bleach, one of the big three, actually make a comeback, that's not One Piece or Boruto.
Wait,
We'll
what's
talk about
Boruto?
Boruto.
Exactly. And when you get basically almost the entire cast to return, it is like you can't get anything better than that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I'm gonna say Bleach.
I'm gonna say Bleach on this one as well. I love Kaiju number 8. It is one of my favorite modern shonens, but it's also a bit of a strike when you really look at it, because like Trey did make a valid point about like how like Kaka switched divisions. It did slow things down a little bit. It's not a bad thing. Like it actually gets more time to know about some of the other characters during that time. That I applaud him for. But it's also the fact that I can also tell that like some of the cracks were starting to show as it like goes on. It still falters a little bit, but it's not a bad thing. I think like with Bleach, it did held up pretty strong. Even though like yeah, again, some of the filler arcs were they're still pretty consistent from what they were doing. And plus the fallout with the voice cast, like yeah, a lot of them are returning, and some of them, yeah, they did get recasted because of like licensing and contract, but what we got with like the newer actors that came into the picture, they held off pretty strong. They actually bounced out pretty well with the old cast members.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Bleach too. I love Kaiju number 8. Trust me, I read wrong before, but it's Bleach. Like,
It's
come
fucking
on.
Bleach.
Despite what I said earlier, I don't dislike Kaiju number 8. I think it's a very solid series that anyone should give a try, give it a watch, or give it a read on their own time, and they'll enjoy it more than me for sure. But I'm gonna be blunt. I like Black Clover more than I like Kaiju number 8, and I chose
Bleach.
Bleach for Black Clover. So like, it's literally A beats B beats C. I'm sorry.
Christ. All right. Good job, Bleach. But good job, Kaiju number 8.
But yeah,
Kaiju
also
number
good
8, you
job
made
to
it pretty
Kaiju
far.
number 8.
You,
Good
you get
job.
4 claps.
I'll give it 8.
Okay. We're going to decide, boys. We are here to decide who is the king.
Wait.
Hellsing Ultimate and Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War arc.
So vampires versus ghosts, essentially.
Yeah.
You can't really draw parallels too much with these series because they're both doing very, very different things, telling very different stories, and have very different themes. Like the only similarity I can really think of is a similar tackling of like monster and humanity. But
And
even
the
then,
dark tone.
with Helsing, it's about sacrificing humanity or finding humanity with monsters. Whereas with Bleach, it's more so reconciling with all aspects of yourself, which is a different lesson entirely.
I agree.
I think it also
that.
depends like which one you're in the mood for.
I think
Honestly,
it's true of that, but I think what I'm going to say, as much as I love one of these series, I think to me, it's one of my favorites of all time. I will say Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War arc. As people may know, yes, I am a huge and one of the biggest Hellsing fans. Alucard is my GOAT. He is like one of my favorite characters of all time. But I think the one really big strike I would say about Hellsing Ultimate, how it just ends. It just ends. Like
yeah.
at
That's
least
what I was
like
about
with
to
the
say.
original series, it does just end, but it was an anime original ending, and also it kind of did tease like more what they could have done if they actually just continued it.
yeah.
With Ultimate, it was like, okay, Alucard's back. He's now like merged with Schrodinger's cat persona, so it's like he's everywhere but nowhere. But comes again to Integra, gives him blood. Credits. I was like, that's it?
It's like Morbius.
That's all we're getting?
That's yeah.
It's literally like Morbius. Just ends. Like, what? What?
Like,
What?
I'm
That was
just-
it?
I'm just really, because like there can't just be just two organizations that know about vampires. It can't just be the Nazis and the Iscariot organization, and especially how the tease like the fact like the Catholic Church is willing to go to war against the Hellsing organization. So it's like there's still more you could have done.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll agree with you. Honestly, Bleach. I mean, it's my childhood. I mean, Hellsing Ultimate. Yeah, it's really great. The action's great. Some of the story's good, but honestly, I agree with you. It just the way it just ends,
It felt more
like
abrupt.
it's kind of like in a way like how Kaiju number 8 ended, where like there's so much more you could have done, like to mention a few things and a few story beats, you know. So like it just feels like a bit of waste of potential to me. I
Yeah.
just wish there was maybe at least another 12 episodes. But for Bleach, I mean, yes, it's long, yes, there's filler and stuff, but honestly, it's consistently it is kind of consistent with a lot of the story arcs. You know, like when each got his powers, the Soul Society arc, the Arrancar arc, the Hueco arc, the Winter War arc, the Fullbringer arc, the Thousand Year Blood War, and then not to mention the filler arcs. Yes, again, not all of them are good, but still, it has more in it. You know, so yeah, Bleach.
Yeah, I'm going with like Bleach on this one as well. Like I
Piggybacking,
got really nothing else to add because Brandon and Kevin already pointed out their points. But I will say, this one did expose me to like some of my favorite actors in that one.
piggybacking off of what Brandon was talking about earlier, even ignoring like the endings of both their respective series, even though Thousand Year Blood War arc is still technically going on in the anime. One thing I praised Helsing for being able to pack emotion despite lack of lore and build up in certain cases. But at the same time, though, when you're comparing it to a series like Bleach, that positive also is a negative. For example, like let's compare two different things. Alucard killing Alexander Anderson and Ichigo realizing the truth about Zanpakuto and accepting that the blade is him. The blade is me scene.
Mhm.
With Alexander Anderson and Alucard, they only had one fight beforehand and only a couple of interactions. Like there's a lot of strong thematic parallels between the two, but there is not really much time devoted towards them actually developing a real dynamic between the two that would make their ending with each other hit harder. Whereas with Ichigo accepting the truth about Zangetsu, there is constant buildup, his constant beef with the hollow side of himself, only to realize at the end that he was actually protecting him in his own way this whole time. The truth about old man Zangetsu, how it was actually a copy of your watch, the foreshadowing there of his true heritage of being hollow and Quincy. All of that is built up throughout the series, and when that moment happens, it changes literally everything about all those scenes prior, recontextualizes in a way you can view different storytelling. The Hollow wasn't trying to take over his body when he died to Okiura. It was literally just saying, hey, if you fuck up, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save your life, even if it means hurting your friends. Like, that is so much more emotional and powerful, and that is only because of the Blade is me scene. And we don't get that in Hellsing, unfortunately, and that's one of the reasons I will give it to Bleach.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like we're
Alrighty.
all unanimous on this one.
Wow.
Once again, a clean sweep on that one.
The strongest
But hey,
of the big three, the original
but
big
hey,
three. Holy
big
crap!
round of applause to both Helsing and Bleach.
But
Good
round
job.
of applause. Oh, we have done it. We have crowned our king. We have crowned the king of our stuff. It is Bleach.
That is insane.
Wow.
One of the classic shonens.
Damn.
Classic shonens, the classic big three, and the return. The return of such a series that people even said was average or just didn't care about. Like yeah, it was there. It was good. It was fine.
But then 180 later on.
Yeah.
Literally, just like, but all still one thing. Kubo, what's with some of these names, man? Why'd you make the main antagonists have the hardest names to pronounce?
Yahua,
Bambina.
like
Even if it may be blasphemous, just call him Yahweh. Like Araki literally calls Dio, which is Italian for God. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to hide.
You don't have to hide it,
I know you're trying to do like Spanish names, Japanese names, German names
But
for like
Try
Asian,
to
but
be
it's
a
like,
little
bruh,
more consistent with the names.
just saying,
I'm not saying it's bad. The fact that like Burn the Witch has like more consistent names. That's sad.
Oh, speaking of Burn the Witch,
Speaking of Burn the Witch,
when?
Can we
Here's
get more
the
of that,
Kubo.
please?
Finish this last part. Finish the final part of the Thousand Year Blood War.
And then get
But
back to
then get your ass on top of Burn the Witch, man. Come on.
Please.
You
And you
can't
still
keep
have the-
asking us for
I'm
that.
pretty
you
sure
still have
people
the-
have been
and-
asking for that too.
And you still have the Hell Arc. You're releasing all these light novels about Bleach, but you drop only one chapter for the Hell Arc in Bleach as a sequel series. and you haven't touched shit about it in years.
I mean, you're procrastinating more than Trey with new anime, and that's saying something.
I hate to say it, but no, you can't let Boruto show you up like that. You can't let Boruto be more
Please,
consistent than you, man.
please.
Okay, we gotta end this video right now because, like, holy crap, I feel sick just saying this.
But absolutely, we have crowned it. We have crowned our king of absolute cinema, people. Absolute cinema for some of these fights. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been quite the journey. You never know. This is season 1. You never know. Will this come back? You don't know. I'm not saying anything about it. So, I'll put the link of this finalist bracket in the link of the comments. Tell us, who would you have chosen? Who would you have crowned king of these anime fights? But we'll see you guys in some future videos for some fun stuff. Have a good night.